Hello, welcome to today's video diary for Finding My Way with Pi, Purpose, Intention, and Emotion. I am Pi, and today I'm continuing along the thread of listening to my heart, listening to my true inner self, and making sure that I am following that path now and not meandering down the path of someone else's expectations or allowing expectations of myself to be influenced by someone else's expectations. It takes a lot of courage to stand up and say, I'm not going to operate in this system anymore. I need to listen to myself now. This is no longer okay. And I'm finding there's a couple of different responses to this. So when I did it and I left my corporate job, the couple of different responses I received were, there's this category of people who are like, that's amazing. We're so proud of you for listening to yourself and for doing what's right for you right now. And that is an example for all of us that we should listen to ourselves. And then there's the other people who are like, what are you going to be doing? What's the plan? You have to fit inside this box. What do you mean you don't have something lined up yet? And it's unbelievable that I would have the courage to step outside of that and to pursue something that wasn't prescribed, if you will. I listened to myself recently here. Really, this whole journey has been figuring out how to get still and to understand what I need and what my heart is telling me. And it's not always an easy or pleasant journey. And sometimes it's quite uncomfortable and painful and tearful and soulful. It's hard to stand against the pressures of expectations. And yet I know if I have done, let me say this in another way. I was going to say, if I've done my duty by my family, let me say this another way. If I know that I've approached this openly and honestly, and that my hubby and I have talked about this together and we've agreed on this together and we even know what the plan is together, does it matter what anyone else says? And I've followed the prescribed path before, and it led me to an empty husk of myself. Now I want to be alive and I want to follow my passions, and I am. And it makes me feel whole, and it makes me feel like I can make a difference. Yesterday, during the video diary, I talked about making sure that I created the space to listen to myself and understand where something may be coming from, where that pressure may be coming from, and then to get still enough to go even deeper and say, what do I want? What is it I really want? My body knows what's right for me. How do I sink into that knowing? And for me, it really boils down to what my body feels like as I consider the different options. And so what I landed on, where I feel the most peace, is the three things that I said yesterday. I'm repeating all of this again today because today I met with my career coach, and he shared a story with me that, he's worked with corporate executives transitioning out of corporate leadership for over 30 years. And he has held retreats before for corporate executives to help them figure out, for themselves, what's next for them. And Sometimes they're even in the middle of their careers. But the way he created the space for them to figure that out, it wasn't some, magical formula that they follow. If I go do XYZ, I'll get to, the end result. No, the magic was giving them stillness, giving them time. He would give them some journaling prompts and he would say, go take the next 3 hours and sit on the beach and write. Write in response to these journaling prompts and write from your heart. And at the end of the day, when they all gathered together, guess what? Those people knew what they needed to do because they got still enough to hear what their hearts were saying. And that is what I'm saying. That's what I did. And when I shared that with him today, and then he shared that story with me, it was like this, the synchronicity. I am where I'm supposed to be, and I am doing this the right way, but it's not someone else's way. No. The right way is what's right for me. Bringing this full circle. I had a dear friend and mentor, this is probably going to be backwards because of the camera, but drop off some Bella Grace magazines for me. And this one was printed, I believe, in 2020, but the lesson in it was applicable. It's talking about the book Little Women, written by Louisa May Alcott, and just that if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, I highly, highly recommend. It was just talking about how do you embrace your inner March sister. So there's 4 sisters in this book and their last name is March. So they're called the March sisters. And how do you embrace your inner March sister? What lessons can we learn from them? Now, this is one of the great books, Little Women. It's incredible. And I think learning about some of the lessons that we can learn from the March sisters that Louisa May Alcott writes about is incredibly important for us to pay attention to. So after I had that meeting with my career coach today, and then came back home and was reading this Bella Grace magazine, again, synchronicity. So the top 2 lessons that this author wrote about that we can learn from Little Women. Number 1, stay true to who you are. She says, in their best moments, the March sisters are wholly and exactly themselves. In these moments, they do not care about outside influences. They do not focus on what others expect of them. Instead, they do exactly what they want, when they want, how they want. They are unapologetically themselves, and in being so, they flourish. In an age so heavily influenced by social media, it can be challenging to stay true to who we are in the deepest parts of ourselves. But it is essential to our happiness and to the stories of our own lives. And then the second thing we can learn from them is to be fearless in the pursuit of your passions. We see this come through each sister in different ways, and most strongly in Jo. I have always related most to her. She's a writer. She has a ferocious temper. She struggles with feelings of loneliness, but most of all, she devours life. Passionately, unapologetically, and without hesitation. From an early age, Jo knows exactly what she wants, and by golly, she's going to achieve it. Each sister is like this. Their dreams just look different. And that's okay. Like the March sisters, we all have our own dreams. And we have a calling to chase them down and accomplish them. Never be afraid to chase your dreams. There is no age limit, no time limit, no talent limit. Whatever it is, throw yourself in. I am struck today by this deep knowing that this life that I have I can either give it away to someone else or something else and be a shell of myself and not fully experience it, and at the end of it wonder, what if? I know now it's scary to step outside of this construct, but I wouldn't change it for anything, and I'm still in the middle of it. But at least I know I am trying and I am living based on what I want. It's my life. It's not someone else's. And the gift we have to choose and to follow what we want is an incredible gift. And I don't feel that I listened to mine for too long. And the other interesting part is, I think as a child, I knew this and I did follow it for a while until I learned how hard life was, and then I became afraid. And now, in my 40s, I know how hard life is, but now that gives me hope because I made it through everything so far. I can make it through anything, and I would rather make it through things doing something I love, because hard things are going to happen no matter what, than to have to deal with those hard things from a place where I'm an empty shell of myself. So a little bit of grace for myself and for all of us. And for me, I needed to hear and see those examples of, I guess, a little bit of reassurance and synchronicity that, yeah, making a different choice is courageous. But there is this whole different life out there than what we're told there is. And I'm going to go discover mine. So thanks for being with me on this journey. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope it helps you too. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.